Toronto, the capital of the province of Ontario, is a major Canadian city along Lake Ontario's northwestern shore. It's a dynamic metropolis with a core of soaring skyscrapers, all dwarfed by the iconic freestanding CN Tower. Toronto also has many green spaces, from the orderly oval of Queen's Park to 400-acre Hyde Park and its trails, sports facilities, and zoo. Toronto is a prominent center for music, theatre, motion picture production, and television production, and is home to the headquarters of Canada's major national broadcast networks and media outlets. Its varied cultural institutions, which include numerous museums and galleries, festivals and public events, entertainment districts, natural historic sites, and sports activities, attract over 43 million tourists each year. The Union Station is a major railway station and transportation hub in Toronto. It is located on Front Street West on the south side of the block, bounded by Bay Street and York Street in downtown Toronto. Union Station has been a National Historic Site of Canada since 1975 and a Heritage Railway Station since 1989. It is operated by Toronto Terminals Railway, a joint venture of Canadian National Railway and Canadian Pacific Railway that directs and controls train movement along the Union Station Rail Corridor, the largest and busiest rail corridor in Canada. The Fairmount Royal York, also known as the Royal York, is a large historic luxury hotel in Toronto, Ontario. It is located on the Front Street West and the southern end of Financial District in downtown Toronto. The Royal York was designed by Ross and MacDonald in association with Spot and Rolfe and built by the Canadian Pacific Railway Company. The hotel is presently managed by Fairmount Hotels and Resorts. While we were going through the Toronto's main lanes and other major tourist attractions, we did come across the Toronto's harbourfront. Toronto Harbourfront is a neighborhood on the northern shore of Lake Ontario, within the downtown core of the city Toronto. Harbourfront extends from Bathurst Street along Queen's Quay, and its boundary is the Gardiner Expressway. Much of the district was former water lots filled in during the early 1900s to create a larger harbour district. After shipping patterns changed and the use of the Toronto harbour declined, the area was converted from industrial uses to a mixed-use district that is mostly residential and leisure. Toronto is known for its many skyscrapers and high-rise buildings, and in particular, the tallest freestanding structure on land in the Western Hemisphere, the CN Tower. The city is home to the Toronto Stock Exchange and the headquarters of Canada's five largest banks, and the headquarters of many large Canadian and multinational corporations. Its economy is highly diversified with strengths in technology, design, financial services, life sciences, education, arts, fashion, aerospace, environmental innovation, food services, and tourism. Toronto is the largest tech hub in North America after Silicon Valley and New York City, and the fastest growing. We then had the option to walk along the streets in the downtown Toronto, and we came across some of the shopping malls, some of the corporate offices, some of the banks, and then we did get to walk down the lane, and came across this memorial next to the Eaton Center. Well, this memorial is basically in remembrance of the people who have been brave enough and who have, I guess, maybe have worked, in various government positions, and who have dedicated their life towards Toronto. And that is one of the reasons this memorial is built in remembrance of them. So this memorial is basically next to the Eaton Center. Eaton Center is a shopping mall basically in downtown Toronto. Well, this is a big building, and it's basically in remembrance of people who have served the nation, who have served Canada, and basically they have created a memorial for them. Uh, it's a big building that is located next to the Eaton Center, and while we were walking, and we did come across this memorial. Apart from this, it's a really nice structure, um, and we did take a view at it. We did take a look at it, and people ideally come here and spend some of the time. Uh, Basically, it's just a remembrance of the people who have served the nation, and who have been, remembered for their services to the nation. So it's basically a memorial in so that they can remember them. And here you see, this is the Toronto. This is just next to the memorial. This is a location where ice skating is done during winters, and it is also a place for cultural events. This is a big location, and it's in there you see that's the memorial, and right across that memorial is this location. This is a location wherein there are some candlelight visuals held at times, and even some cultural or some events are held at times. There's lots of space, and people do come here and gather in huge numbers. uh, at times it is for the ice skating purpose, or it is for some other reason, maybe a cultural event, or maybe if they are trying to protest or anything as such, or anything, just when people want to gather in big numbers, and want to convey their message to people across the world, or people within the Toronto or within Canada. They ideally gather over here in this location, and try to convey their message. So it's a great location. People ideally now you don't see many people over here because there's no event you know being organized over here, or there's no cultural event or any festival activities or anything as such. But ideally, this is a great place wherein people ideally gather in huge numbers. It's at times it is for ice skating, at times it's just for leisure, just for spending some good time. Apart from that, if there is any message they want to convey to the people within Toronto or within Ontario. We then walked a few steps ahead from that location, from Toronto's Eaton Center, and we did come across this location over here. Um, We then walked a few steps and we found the firefighters memorial, and we just went to the firefighters prayer, and it reads as such: when I'm called to duty, God, wherever flames may reach, give me the strength to save some life, whatever be its age. Help me embrace a little child before it is too late, or to save an older person from the horror of that fate. Enable me to be alert and hear the weakest shout, and quickly and efficiently to put the fire out. I want to fill my calling and to give the best in me, to guard my everyday, my every neighbor, and protect his property. And if, according to your will, it is time to end my life, please bless with your protecting hand my children and my spouse. And this is a list of all the firefighters who have dedicated their lives, who have worked uh, as part of the firefighters team. And there you see, that's an amazing statue. It's basically in remembrance of all the firefighters, and the city of Toronto definitely remembers them, and their services, their dedication towards the nation. And that is one of the reasons the firefighters memorial has been built. And all the firefighters names have been engraved on these walls. There you see all of their names and their past, and the duration and the time they served the country and the city. um, so their names have been engraved in these walls, and it's really it's a great respect that the city of Toronto has. It's a way to remember the firefighters who have just like dedicated their lives towards people and to the general public. And definitely it is a mark of respect um, to the firefighters, and it's basically a memorial, so that we can remember them, we can definitely um, respect them. The Ontario Legislative Building is a structure in central Toronto, Ontario. It houses the Legislative Assembly of Ontario and the Governor of Ontario and offices of the Member of Provincial Parliament, MPPs. The building is surrounded by the Queen's Park, sitting on that part south of Wellesley Street, which is a former site of King's College, later the University of Toronto. So here you see, this is the Queen's Park location. The Legislative Assembly of Ontario is surrounded by the Queen's Park, and people do often come here and spend some good time with friends and relatives. And there you see, that's a really good structure. So basically, a members' day will typically be divided among participating in the business of the House, attending caucus and committee meetings, speaking in various debates, or returning to his or her own constituency to address the concerns, problems, and grievances of the constituents. Depending on personal inclination and political circumstances, some members concentrate most of their attention on House matters, while others focus on constituency problems, taking on something of an ombudsman role in the process. We did walk close to the structure, and there you see, it's really looks amazing. And there you see, that's the Queen's Park, surrounded by the Queen's Park. It's really well maintained, because the Queen's Park is surrounded by the Legislative Assembly of Ontario, and people do often come here and spend some time with friends, relatives. Um, Often it's basically when people want to spend some good time, um, people come down to the Queen's Park. There you see quite a few people sitting in the Queen's Park location, and then just spending some good time. and there you go. We just walked closer to the location, and here you see there's a Queen's Park, basically board that has been put up, and so if you see, it's Queen's Park mentioned, and then there are certain. So Queen's Park is basically an urban park in downtown Toronto, Canada, opened in 1860 by Edward, Prince of Wales. It was named in the honor of Queen Victoria. The park is the site of Ontario Legislative Building, which houses the Legislative Assembly of Ontario. The phrase Queen's Park is regularly used as a mentonym for the Government of Ontario or the Legislative Assembly of Ontario. The park is nearly an enclave of the University of Toronto, which occupies most of the surrounding lands. And there you see there are two statues that have been put up in remembrance, or we did go closer to the statue, and there's even a flag that has been erected, like there's a Canadian flag that is put up just to ensure, like it clearly states that it's a government building, and there you see there are two flags. That's a Canadian flag that has been put up just to ensure that this is a government building, and this is an amazing structure, and definitely it's a government building, and it has the historic architectural style that has been built up for almost hundreds of years, so that it can be it's since it is a historic structure, it has been constructed in that particular manner, in that particular style, so that it stays on for centuries and hundreds of years, and that is why it looks really amazing. Really like the structure, the way it has been built, and so this is it. This is all about Toronto. I hope you have liked the video. We will be definitely be coming up with some more videos, and we'll be showing some amazing historic, some amazing historic, or some um, amazing architectural buildings, like that have been built up years ago. And I hope you've liked this video. Please do subscribe to the channel, and I hope to see you guys soon. Thank you.